State your name and personal access code.
Crispy critters.
Oh, fuck
Invalid
off,
name.
mate.
Fine, I'll hack in.
Not so fast. Name Chariton Zaharov. Code Fluffy.
Code accepted. Access granted.
Charles, are you there?
Nothing?
Nothing. So, what is Charles then?
Long story short, your Charles is Professor Chariton Zaharov.
Huh, that was short. So how could he be Zaharov?
Professor Zaharov was developing the collective subsystems and worked on the module. The one you have inside you. They told us he ran a number of experiments on himself. The result was disastrous and unpredictable.
Do you know what I've lost, sort of, in my head? Why is she leading us around again? I've sort of forgotten what the point of us walk. It's like when you see those CSI shows, and they're always walking around random places. I don't know where we're going.
On himself. Was he an idiot or something?
Oh, he certainly wasn't an idiot. Zaharov was a misanthrope obsessed with science. I don't think he cared about what happened to his body all that much.
When did you realize Charles is Zaharov? Oh, excuse me, just a device. How can you talk about it so calmly?
How can you talk about this so calmly?
To me, Chariton Radionovich died a long time ago. I'm done mourning him. And besides, I'm a scientist. We're more impassionate towards death than to muddling one's brains.
So when did you realize that Charles is Zaharov?
Just about right now. When he went offline, I had no idea Sechenov had stashed his consciousness into your glove. It was the abbreviation Charles that tipped me off.
So Charles isn't a person anymore. Just a device.
I don't know, I guess he is. Except this device is based on the logical paradigm and experience of one of the brightest Soviet geniuses.
So why does Sechenov want him?
Because Sechenov never dismisses what he can use. It's easier for him to change everything to fit his needs. I guess you noticed this already. What's funny is that you seem to have made friends with your glove.
Well, we've been through a lot. I've got feelings, you know, being alive and all. So does he.
Did.
So, how do we get in?
Only a small bunch of people have permanent access to the archive. Sechenov, Lebedev, the director of the Academy, and Zaharov. Like you reminded me.
Fluffy, huh? So what would we have done if the password hadn't worked?
I'm sure you would have smashed the door with your bare fists. But now Archivist thinks I am Dr. Zaharov, so we got lucky. And now we can learn everything about you. Let's go.
On these 1980s
What is
computers.
the subject of your query today?
Or 50s, I
Agent
guess.
P3, personal file.
Your search returned 42 audio records.
So, which one do you want first?
I couldn't care less.
Then pick one at random.
Pick one at random. Test detouring.
Yes, it's part of the experiment. You won't see anyone. Not me, not anyone else. Okay, subject. You will now have a conversation with two young women. Their names are Betsy
That's me.
and Olga.
Hello.
I need you to talk to them and tell me which of the young ladies you spoke to is not a human being, but
First
an
one.
artificially generated voice.
Easy.
Is that clear?
Yeah, sure. I get it.
You may begin.
So, Betsy, do you have any kids?
I'm afraid not. But I want to have two when I finish my internship in about 3 years or so.
Huh. Okay. And here's the last one. Olga, could you ever kill someone?
Me? I don't know. Maybe if they were an enemy or trying to hurt people.
Second one, maybe.
Yeah, I guess I could do it to protect the motherland.
Excellent. We're done here. So, which of the two young women you spoke with is a machine?
I think it's Betsy. Yes.
So, you
Both.
think Olga is human?
That makes sense to me.
Please note that I never told you that either of them was human.
So they're both machines?
Actually, none of the individuals you've spoken to during this experiment are human. Thank you for your time. Please escort the subject out.
Raven 1 satellite was launched into orbit. It was immediately notified that it has been malfunctioned. That's the official version anyway. The unofficial version is more complicated. The Pluche samples on orbiting satellite began to behave in a completely unexpected fashion in zero gravity and independently. Terminated communications with Earth. 2 years later, in 1957, we're planning to send a remote-controlled module disguised as another satellite to shed some light on these events. But until then, Raven 1 will be described as a failed shuttered project in official records. Plutonium is removed from Argentium. He will report directly to me. As for this linguistic oddity of his, leave it be. It will give him elements of a new personality, perform necessary operations, install the module, and put him in a hospital room for surveillance. You can always turn positive to a negative, or the negative to a positive, whatever the right way was around. About the article. Here's my opinion on your article of culture and of instant messaging. All in all, I think it's well written. It's succinct and it does a job of explaining the concept of developing faster ways to transmit text in comparison to mail, the telegraph, and then the telephone. And then finally, the terminal system is quite good. However, your frivolous dalliance with depicting emotions via text seems entirely out of place or even theatrical. How do you imagine people will use punctuation to fill a text-based message with emotional content? People don't seem to understand the difference between a dash and a hyphen, a comma, and a semicolon. You want them to start using these characters to communicate their mood? It's truly absurd. Exactly. Ekaterina, I read what you wrote about using a colon and a parentheses to make a smiley face. It's a cute idea, but Privalov will never approve something like that. I think you're better off doing it a different way. Remember how people used to abbreviate words in telegrams? Maybe if you wanted to show you're happy, you could write hap instead of, and if you feel sad, you could just write sad. Think it over. I mean, that's an abbreviation if I've ever heard one. Archived conversation from Zaharov. Dmitry, I need you to I read your plan to install me as an implantable module. I value your persistence, but I must repeat myself yet again. I have no desire for arms, legs, hair, or the need to waste time eating or going to the bathroom. I'm fine, Dmitry, but your weak-minded desire to anthropomorphize everything under the sun is making me uneasy. Instead of thinking about how to put me in the head of some muscle-bound member of the Communist Youth League, why don't you find a way to cast me off the burden of your own aging flesh? Short and sad down. It's too long of a word. Except from Technology for Kids. From a comprehensive article from Technology for Kids about the facility in the West. In the West, smart, educated people call us Homo Sovieticus. They're proud to have discovered this type of person, so they came up with a nice name. They also use this to humiliate us and put us down. They don't realize we've done something more. We were the first to breed this type of person, but in the West, all they can do is come up with new words for things, and they think this contribution to history is much more important than our accomplishments. The West's high opinion of itself is deserving of ridicule. P.S. At Sechenov's request, find references to Homo Sovieticus throughout the entire database and change it to Homo Futurum in every instance. A future person, I guess. That's a lot of reading. Doubts. As you know, I'm extremely old. This is from Pavlov. As you know, I'm extremely old. And believe me, a man who's dedicated his entire life to the science of life itself, no one is more surprised than me. What I mean to say is that the seduction of longevity, which Larissa does not need these records, use a scanner. Although there are a lot of unexpected things in these recordings. Okay. Thank you. Surprised me. Where do we get to? What I mean to say is the seduction of longevity, which I am subject to, and to which I have no doubt any living being would similarly pursued, now seems monstrous to me. Back then, when I first met Dmitry Sechenov as a patient on his operating table, I could never have imagined I might feel weighed down by the burden of life he worked so hard to save. No, my friend, there's no joy in long life, much less an eternal one. Like a shark living in icy waters for half a millennium, I'm now swimming incandescent? Isn't that supposed incandescent? Incandescent flow of life? Able to observe the achievements of colleagues whose names I barely recall, trying to remember those who came before those names are lost forever to history. This lengthy forward leads me to my conclusion, Comrade Nikitin. Your request to undergo life-extending procedures is officially denied. Please do not pursue this matter any further. There is no point. To be fair, you get bored. Eventually. Experimental Department for Individual Data for May June recording period tab. I think this is just a list, right? Pigs, cows, bulls. Oh, wait, what? Okay. Troubling issue. Vivisection is a cruel procedure that is justly considered unethical. When I begin an experiment that will result in the death of an animal, I feel a profound sense of regret cutting short an exuberant life and acting as the executioner of another living being. When I cut into a violent and violate a living animal, I must smother within myself a biting reproach that I am with my coarse and disrespectful hand breaking a machine of a transcendent artistry. But I do this in the pursuit of truth to help my fellow man. However, in recent years, I've begun to suspect certain similar experiments are being conducted at my complex. Without my knowledge, of course, and not on animals, but on my fellow man. Due to the frailty and the hectic schedule, I've been unable to confirm these suspicions, for which I request that you immediately send any archival information, such as acts transpiring on these premises. Needless to say, if this practice does in fact exist, I mean to nip it in the bud. Who's that from? Oh, Pavlov? Okay. This must be his terminal, I guess. Vitaly, you know, Comrade Pavlov has been a little anxious lately. I am aware he keeps sending you requests for archival data on various projects from Pavlov, especially on the threshold of Launch Collective 2.0. So I've got a little request for you. Comrade Pavlov is, shall we say, getting in on his years. We should try and keep his worries to a minimum. He's a talented scientist, but he's painfully sentimental in his recent years. If you get any requests regarding particularly complex issues, just stall him for a bit and tell me right away. Is that from Sechenov? Secretary. Okay, secretary to Nikitin. A certain dissonance. Progress by leaps and bounds may become typical of humanity in this challenging 20th century. Against the background of tremendous inequality, breakthroughs in science and technology can seem just astonishing, but can seem not just astonishing, but even insulting. But this, as a sociological and political matter, right now I want to contemplate the issue for the individual who, feeling himself in a state of accelerated freefall, is being flung forward faster and faster by progress. Much like the pseudo-scientific fears voiced when railroads were being built, when the suggestion was actually made that the sight of the landscape whizzing by at 50 kilometers per hour would drive passengers mad. I am beset by similar predictions. Just 25 years ago, more than half the Soviet citizens were illiterate. Today, now we are flying in space. What awaits us tomorrow? Will we have time to catch our breath before the next great leap? I didn't know that about railways. That's pretty cool. Understandable as well. Play it, goddammit.
As a young man, Plutonium, now P3, was confident and funny, which played a key role in his assignment to Argentum. He was a promising operative, but lagged behind many other candidates in a number of ways. However, the positive influence and infectious good humor he imparted to his fellow servicemen, especially in comparison to the more morose Commander Kuznetsov, served as a compelling reason to recruit him. Because of this, the emergence of a more intimate relationship between him and Agent Blesna was only a matter of time.
Blesna? Who is this Blesna? Top secret. Chronology of Zakharov incident. Deleted from Zakharov to Sechenov. You don't understand me. Or is it that you don't want to? Or are you afraid of losing the man who will give you your brilliant future? No. I am particularly fond of the human race you love so dearly. And that's not the reason, Dmitri. I am the one who can sort out all the finer points of the inside. The implant can only be configured and analyzed from within the subject's consciousness. No test subject, whether it be a rat or a human being, can perform this kind of research. You are preventing me from continuing my work. What is this?
Here's another one.
It's record. My good God, there's loads. There's so much shit to read. Let's just loot for a bit. I am actually genuinely tired of reading. Let's go get that stuff.
I only need one for now.
Okay. Did they put all this loot here for us while we're watching a movie or something, or listening to a recording? A recording? Let's go check. Oh, no, there's more here. Give me the loot. Here you go. What do I do with it? I have a recording. How do I give it to her? Oh, do I have to like equip it or something? I don't know. Let's read from the back. All the way at the back. No topic. From Debalskaya. Get over here right now, please. Something's wrong. Dumb and Dumber. Please change the workspace assignments for Y and M Klimov and put them far from each other as possible. Despite these employees' excellent professional qualifications, their productivity plummets if they're able to converse with one another. Employees have been complaining about their loud laughter and inappropriate jokes. Monitor the... Okay, thank you. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm shocked. While the things at the facility usually shock me in a good way, this time I'm simply outraged. The latest innovations in analyzing the structure of the future have allowed your lab assistants to make predictions of an incredible accuracy and importance. What are they doing? That's right, they are logging into our systems to hear the latest music from the radio of the future. I have no intention of disparaging the achievements of this project. Hearing music that will not be written for 30 or 40 years is truly a scientific marvel, but only for the layman. Your employees are men of science, not greasers in leather jackets and tight jeans. If anyone else comes here to save themselves a copy of the latest Billie Eilish song, I'll cut off the access. I mean, they said 50 to 80 years, so I guess that makes sense. Missing components. Despite the obvious importance of the entire facility of 3826, I have been unable to get authorization for the additional shipments of superconductor material for over a year now. Before the accident, Comrade Zakharov promised to solve the problem of his personal channels. My question to you, Comrade Supervisor, is do you have any such channels of your own? Perhaps you could solve this problem for me. If not, the entire system might go belly up. Archive conversation. To Sechenov. The agent's tests yielded impressive results. Whilst immersed in limbo, this seemingly fragile young woman literally becomes an invincible fighter. The implications for training sabotage specialists as well as overall approach to secrecy are enormous. The fighter's memory can literally be wiped out without harming their skills or personality. The term sleeper agent will take on a whole new meaning. Interesting. I wonder who they're talking about. Okay, another one to listen to. Come on. Play it, goddammit.